Hello and welcome to the video version of my journal. I'm Stephanie Rivers. Come on into the conversation. I'm multicasting on several platforms, so you could be watching on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or even Instagram or whatever platform you're watching. We want to welcome you to the conversation. Now, you know how when somebody owes you $500, let's say, but they claim to never have your $500, but you always keep seeing them spending money on things that equal $500 or more. Well, that's what keeps happening. That's what's going on in Tennessee right now. See, the Tennessee legislature, run by a Republican supermajority, they keep spending money on everything else, yet they won't pay Tennessee State University the $2.1 billion they are owed in state funds. Now, it's the same problem that we've discussed before, but today, instead of just discussing the problem, we're going to discuss a solution. So hold on. And I know it's going to resonate with you because you probably know someone who attended Tennessee State University or another HBCU, and it's been going on to a lot of other HBCUs. But today we're going to focus on Tennessee State University, one, because it's my alma mater, and two, because this might give you an indication on how you can solve the problem in your state, or you can help Tennessee State claim that $2.1 billion that they are owed. But before we get to that, let's get to the big picture, and then I'm going to bring it back to you. Now, owners of the Tennessee Titans, they want a new stadium in Nashville, but they want to use OPM, other people's money, okay? Now, when it comes to paying your bills, everybody knows that it's better to pay down your debt before you start to create more debt, especially if you're going to put it on a credit card, okay? And so that's just the wise thing to do. Using credit to pay for something or purchase something creates more of an issue. You got to pay interest, you got to pay fees, and there's always penalties if you don't pay the bill on time. So this conversation is also a conversation of needs versus wants. So some politicians who run the state of Tennessee and the city of Nashville, they have proven that they are poor money managers who don't care about paying their debts, especially when it comes to them owing Black people. And that's what makes this a conversation about right versus wrong. So stick with me. If you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. So now the Tennessee Titans football team, they claim to need a new stadium because the one that they got needs to get upgraded. And since it's going to take $1 billion to upgrade the current stadium, they want the state of Tennessee and the city of Nashville, where the stadium is going to be, they want them to help pay for the new stadium that's going to cost $2.1 billion. So now these millionaires, they don't care about the taxpayers, because if they did, they would just go ahead and pay their own bills, the millionaires, because they are millionaires after all. So these millionaires, they don't need a new stadium, but they want a new stadium. So let me show you what we are talking about. I'm going to show you this new stadium. Let me make sure I got my, because I got a lot of stuff pulled up. Okay, so here's the new stadium that the Titans want to build, $2.1 billion. Now, that's just one of the pictures. This is how it's supposed to look. I'm just gonna flash through here right fast. Okay, I don't know. Let me see if I can pull it up again. So these are just pictures of the new stadium. These are renditions of the model that they want to create. 2.1 billion dollars. It's going to seat 60 thousand people, and the state of Tennessee has agreed that they're going to foot a portion of the bill. Now, the NFL and the owners of the Titans, they plan to put up $840 million. Now, the millionaires, they're the millionaires in the equation. They're going to put up $840 million. The Nashville City Council plans to commit $760 million. Now, commit nearly the same amount of money, except they want to risk it from taxpayers' money, mostly working class people. They say they're going to increase the taxes on hotels and state property taxes. They're going to do some things to get the money. So in other words, they don't have the money already, but they plan to get the money by essentially using a credit card. They're going to put it on credit to get the $760 million. So the NFL and the Titans owners are going to come up with $840 million. The city of Nashville is going to come up with $760 million, while the state of Tennessee, the legislature wants to put up $500 million to help the NFL Titans pay for a new stadium. Meanwhile, the state legislators have refused to pay Tennessee State University the money that they owe that HBCU. Now, here's a backstory on why the state of Tennessee owes Tennessee State University. Tennessee State University is a land grant university, and essentially, in the South, most Southern states have created land grant universities, and most of those, all the HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, are land grant universities because the state in which they were created was the state set aside money and set aside land to fund those universities. They're supposed to get a certain amount of money every year. But over the course of, let's say, the past 100 years, the Tennessee State Legislature underfunded or not funded at all Tennessee State University. So much so that now the state owes Tennessee State University, according to the federal government, they owe them $2.1 billion. They owe them $2.1 billion. So I'm going to try to share this with you. This is just... So what is TSU owed? The federal government says they're owed $2.1 billion. And let me do it like that so you can see it. That's what Tennessee State is owed, according to the federal government. So I'm not just making that number up. So that's why the state of Tennessee owes Tennessee State University some money, because it's a land grant university, and they promise to fund them like they do all public universities. So they ain't doing nothing special for us, except that they are derelict in their duty of providing the funds that they said they will provide, $2.1 billion. But they got plenty of money to put towards a new stadium, not a need, but a want, for the Tennessee Titans that's owned by the NFL. And the owners of the Titans, that are millionaires. Make it make sense. It doesn't make any sense. So we have been fighting people who, one, have the checkbook already, and we need to get back up and start fighting power with power. And what do I mean by that? Well, here's what needs to happen. Tennessee State University needs to um, its collective student alumni together. And me being one of those alumna, I graduated a while back, but I still care. And I grew up in Tennessee, grew up in Knoxville. And so we need to send out a national hootie hoo across the United States, across the state of Tennessee, and to find out who are the people who should care that the state legislature is not paying us our money, but they got plenty of money to put down on other stuff. Who are these people? So I started asking myself, well, let's start with the NFL. Who in the NFL would care about an HBCU and or Tennessee State University in particular? And it turns out that a number of Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Famers graduated from HBCU. At that list. Who are the HBCU Hall of Famers? So I'm going to try to zoom in on this so you can see it, but I'm going to read it to you anyway. So the NFL Hall of Fame players from HBCUs, here's the breakdown. So I'm not going to read the names, but you can go back and pull up this same information. We've got 4 of them from Grambling, 4 from Jackson State, 4 from Morgan State, 4 from South Carolina State, 3 from Southern University, 2 from Mississippi Valley, 2 from Tennessee State, my alma mater. That would be Richard Dent and Claude Humphrey. 2 from Texas Southern, 1 from Alabama A&M, 1 from Bethune-Cookman, 1 from Bishop, 1 from FAMU, 1 from Fort Valley State, 1 from Maryland Eastern Shore, 1 from North Carolina State, 1 from Prairie View, and 1 from Savannah State, and that being Shannon Sharp. And we know Shannon Sharp from Club Shay Shay. That would be that Shannon Sharp who graduated from an HBCU. So before we start trying to just get any and everybody to care, we need to go to the people who actually graduated and or attended a HBCU, who probably have more concern about the value of what HBCUs do than anybody else. And going back to Tennessee State and Claude Humphrey and Richard Dent being the NFL Hall of Famers who went to Tennessee State, they should be 2 of the people who we, the faculty, staff, administration, and alumni of TSU can go to say, we need you to start use your influence to let the Tennessee State Legislature know that we want our money, that your university that helped you to get where you are and where you went today, they need their money. That's what we need to do. We need to pull our efforts and stop trying to fight a fight without backup, basically. And so that's what I think needs to happen. Now, who else is out there that we could pull some strings on? While I was doing my research, I found out that Travis Scott, the rapper Travis Scott, who is from Houston, but he also recently did a promo whereby he has a clothing brand, and he highlighted some HBCUs. He created some designs using HBCU paraphernalia. I guess that's the best way to say it. And so instead of us trying to go to people who might care, we need to go to the people who have already shown that they should care. And Travis Scott. So if you know any of these HBCU NFL Hall of Famers, if you know Travis Scott, let them know what's going on in Tennessee and around the country, where letting them know that we need their help on getting our money from the Tennessee State Legislature. My question is, should taxpayers fund the NFL stadium? I say no, especially when the state and the taxpayers are not getting the money that they should be getting from the legislatures. So they're just creating bills and not paying their bill. They're getting things on credit and not paying their bills. Then I said to myself, who else might care? Are there any HBCU grads that are currently on the Tennessee Titans roster? And when I got to looking, I found out, well, there certainly is somebody. So let's look at who this is. So I pulled up the Tennessee Titans roster, and what I found is this person right here, Lachavious Simmons, who is number 73, I guess, oh, well, that's open linebacker. He's 6'5", 315 pounds, 27 years old, and he went to Tennessee State University, okay? So he's right up the street. So what somebody needs to do, and that somebody could be me, it could be whoever we want it to be. I thought that I had it so, okay, that it would show like that. That's Lachavious Simmons. We need to get with Lachavious and ask him, hey, if you had a chance to speak out for Tennessee State University to help them get the money that they are owed by the Tennessee State Legislature, would you be willing to do that? Maybe he'd be willing to do a promo. Maybe he'll be willing to go and speak before the state legislatures in Nashville, since they all right there together. It's a ride up the street, basically. So he can say, hey, instead of y'all putting this $500 million towards a new stadium that they don't need, because the one that they have is not like it's broken down or anything. It's like they just want to do an upgrade. Same as you do at your house, you want to do an upgrade. But do you go and spend another 300 or 400,000, get 3,000 or 4,000 and go to Home Depot or Lowe's and upgrade? That's the way we have to do it as working class people. So why can't those millionaires put their money together, and if they want to get a new stadium, then they can go buy it themselves? That's my point. So that's what I think that we should do. We should start leveraging the relationships that we have so that we can say, hey, we don't want to fund a millionaire project. We want for the millionaires to pay their own way, and we want for the legislators to give us our money that we are owed. And I think that's only fair. So we should stop trying to fight a battle against people who already hold the purse, and they already have shown that they don't care about us. Playing fair, I guess. We're not necessarily playing fair, but we are just going by a set of protocol that clearly they don't respect, unless they are the ones that are using it on their behalf. When we come forth with certain protocol, then we don't get anything done, apparently, because for at least 20 years, I've been hearing about how the state of Tennessee owes TSU all this money, but they haven't been paying it. So we need to stop just going by protocol, and we need to show that there's strength in numbers, and we need to use our collective power to get the money that is owed to us. And when we do that, then we might start to see some results. So that's all I got. If you more about what I care about, you can go to the written version of my journal. It's at eurweb.com.